Trust you well. You've jumped into the intermediate conversation here as a full contact fighter. I did a 30-minute video just then in regards to beginners. So if you're a beginner in that white belt area from a teens, I feel, or an adult all the way up from 18 to, as I gestured, that 40-odd-year-old, and even maybe you could be a bit older and you're exceptional. Congratulations, fantastic. Check out the beginner, and we'll go from there. Intermediate. Okay, we've surpassed that beginner phase. I give it a scale here of as a beginner, your white to blue belt, yellow tag, and then in Kyokushin Karate, a yellow belt, a potential yellow tag, yellow belt up to green, green brown. You're in the intermediate conversation. So white to blue, you may have a great couple of years to get to that yellow, blue, yellow. So you may have had anywhere between up to 10 to 20 bouts, depending on the tournaments that you've had. Bouts meaning 2-minute, fights across these tournaments, or maybe you've been on a losing streak and you've only had 5. You just don't. I just don't know. But you're this person I'm talking to now, and the intermediate has got now the taste, we call it, and the taste is crikey. Like, some intermediate tournaments have shin pads and gloves, some don't. So now you're slowly moving into full contact. Just depends on different tournaments and who runs them. I went through a mixture. I had I had a mixture of both. Some say put shin pads on but no gloves, and some said none at all. You're intermediate. You're going to get ready for open. So here it is. Start going for it. Intermediate was a fun block for me because again, the dojo had great experienced fighters that I came through that gave us fantastic training partners that built our self-esteem, our confidence. Shian Billy also had the, reassurance of knowing where we were at as a team, and then individually knowing, the different levels of weight and expertise. So, the intermediate fighter is got that taste, is maybe seeing the competitive side of going against their core their senpais over the last 2-3 years. Their strength has built up. Obviously, your stamina has risen, to a fantastic level. And when I say stamina, I'm not just saying you can do 2 minutes. Now you're in a capable position to do 10, 15, 20 rounds flat, no problem, no fatigue straight into your first 2 or 3. That might be in that beginner phase. Intermediate must, and in our 50 round sets that we do here, I allow the different belts can come in. They have to anyone below green has to message me to see, because there are world tournament fighters, national champions, state champions, and it is overwhelming. But we need to just understand what your why is. Why are you here? Does it make sense to be sparring with a tier of these types of caliber fighters? However, the intermediate phase is in that conversation of going, hey, I want to be tested. I want to be challenged. I've got that confidence. If so, fantastic. That's great. That's great. If you're not, and you're a bit hesitant and you're unsure, go back to the beginner video in a way, but that's when I said mentally. Mentally, the confidence has to be super, super, super confident now. You have to have a little bit of ego within your confidence to say you're capable. It starts to become, it's dangerous as a beginner for any outcome. That's, a head kick, a body blow, because it can be damaging. It's the exact same in intermediate, right? And again, not sure if you're in full, no shin pads, gloves, or full contact. So be very, very careful now. So the body has to just be at its next level. You can't be the same fighter that you were in your beginner days. You need to now have that tier of difference. And if you haven't, then that means you've got to spend more time doing what I just said in the beginner. Focusing on your time frame, focusing more on your stamina conditioning. You can never have enough stamina conditioning, which will lead me to advance later. So you've just got to continue to improve and see and measure your stage, measure the stage out from your bouts. So if you're into that intermediate conversation, if you're into that intermediate conversation, excuse me, you will start to realize your weight. You don't need to worry about that. You will start to be confident in the, obviously, level of how you're going through the tournament. The cardio shouldn't be a question, I feel. Like a question of like, is your cardio good? No. Conditioning is the tricky bit here. How much is too much? How much is not enough? So the conditioning part picks up in that fifth and fourth week, 1 month out, and there's a bit more pressure. You're confident now, your stamina's up, your cardio's up. Your conditioning has to now have a bit more of a test. The intermediate division has fringe brown belts that can float in there, green, browns, greens, and you might be in that yellow. And again, great bouts in this in this period of your career or in your fighting, tier, because you're fresh, you're young, maybe you haven't had as many bouts. You're reading and you're seeing the fantastic opportunities are opening up. You're not overly stressed of the moment. You've been through 5 to 20 bouts already through your 2 years. So these are really confident stages here that you have to build upon and recognize. I think we shy away from it, from our intermediates. I think we have to just continue to put that message out there that, hey, you're on a fantastic path at the minute. You've given your dojo 2-3 years. You've given yourself a fantastic lifestyle within within day to day. Fit, healthy, strong. Your mindset is disciplined. Your nutrition, I'm quite sure, is disciplined. In getting to these levels. And if they're not, shit, you've got to start questioning those things like now. Don't let it sneak into advance, because you'll get caught. You'll definitely get caught, right? So the beautiful part of intermediate is all those positives that came from beginner level. Have to experience them. I experienced them, and I'm so thankful for them, to get that novice title, or to lose the novice title, or to lose the bout, whatever the scenario is, and getting that taste again. So where does that taste sit internally? This is where you start to, put, I guess, a bit of a target on your head, expectation on your head. The dojo's expecting more from you. They've got to be different to the beginner fighter that was the year before. What are your goals here? Now you're starting to build your repertoire. Now there are some positive strikes, positive defensive moves, positive angle, something. There's multiple things that you're obviously good at and that you're building towards. So you've got to focus and put your attention into them. And slowly you're starting to mold yourself as a full contact fighter. Slowly you're starting to realize, hey, shit, my legs got in bad shape in the last tournament. Start putting some emphasis. And again, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Bloody tough, isn't it, right? So now the balance is, shit, my legs copped it. And you start to go, shit, actually, my shins copped it. So there's 2 problems now. So how long are you going to be preparing for this? Most of the time after a tournament, we would review, do a debrief, spot the weaknesses, and start getting onto them. You'd have a 1-week break, but mentally you would start preparing, jotting down legs, hands, defense, hands up, and you just want to go beast mode. You just want to get straight into it. Because the last 2 years here in Melbourne and in Australia, more so, we haven't had a consistent tournament run. I thought this was a great angle to now put this forward and get some more viewers and listeners to benefit from it, and hopefully so. In that respect, your conditioning has to be balanced, has to be managed. Don't want to get hurt now. You're in a very, very tight situation where the conditioning can be, again, with a training partner that's too extreme, can really hurt you and put you in a bad position in readiness for your bout. So the preparation of that in our dojo has chopped and changed a lot. Again, depending on your fighter's age and the weight of your training partners, there are moments where the conditioning can be full contact and controlled with a good coach, good teacher overseeing it. And then there is a balance of maybe it just should be shin pads, gloves, because the shin pad gloves allow that training partner, 20 kilos heavier. There's some ridiculous numbers out there of weight difference. And yes, of course, even 5 kilos heavier, a middleweight to a lightweight, there's going to be a massive comparison of strength and power and level of experience. So your kohai has a massive responsibility here for you intermediates. Your coach has a challenge on their hands, and you as the potential listener here who's in the intermediates is starting to get stronger, tougher. That Kyokushin balance of, wow, this is cool. I'm a confident, full contact striking karateka here. There's no doubt in that intermediate level, it's something is starting to click. If you hadn't competed as in the beginner, and then you've decided as an intermediate to join to compete, all right, here's something for you, a little bit more. So you haven't had any fights, and we've had them. Again, I'm sharing this stuff because this is what we have in our dojo as well. The intermediate fighter, the yellow, green comes up to me and goes, I think I'm going to go. I would like to compete this year. Well, shit, yeah, that's fantastic. Something has clicked, or there's been a different why, there's been a different change. So go back to the tips in beginner. Mentally, what's going on here? What? Awesome, keep the positive energy, but what is it? Is it a motivator? Is it a goal? Is it a target? Is it something you just want to have a taste of? Because then you got to grab it, you got to bottle it, you got to keep it there, you got to make sure that it's getting the right everything towards what they have said why they want to do this. Because now they just have to continue that journey that they may have seen in your dojo before. Like, oh shit, is this the process? 8 weeks, 6 weeks out. Oh man, am I up for that? Mentally got to get them ready. Then away we go. Set up the timeline of maybe some intermediates have that exceptional conditioning, so strong, super strong, stamina poor. Shit, well, what does that mean? No, I'm a strong fighter. I sparred the guys. No, I'm good. Yeah, but how's your stamina? What happens if we put more pressure? There's a lot of great fighters in that intermediate level that just come out guns blazing in the first 30 seconds. Can they withstand it? Can they withhold the storm, I call it? Weather the storm, or are you going to match and then you're in it? So we got to answer these questions, find out, because the big key ones in Kyokushin in this part is stamina, conditioning, control. Most that come off the mat in intermediate have had a fantastic bout, and then they come off, and then maybe their first thing is, I ran out of tickets. And it's like, yeah, you hit that next bit that shit, we couldn't quite get, or you went above and beyond. And there's some spirit in those fighters that you cannot buy. So, that tier, 2 fantastic conditioned stamina fighters, comes down to spirit. Who wants it more? How do you know who wants it more? How do you know? Where do you get that from? Where the fuck? Who can I go buy? I joke around. Where can I buy some of that? You can't. You got to train. You got to put it on the mat. You got to sacrifice everything here and outside and put your body through these extreme, conditions. Again, in a controlled environment, thankfully, we can take ourselves to that next level. The beautiful part of Kyokushin and other styles, I'm sure, but in our style, is getting to that point of absolute, exhaustion, or knowing you broke through that pain barrier, that wall that you never thought you could. And that's when there's the spirit just lifts, and that's where those semi-finals and finals in intermediate have to, oh man, the spirit comes out. And some are just gassed and done after 2 fights. Fair enough. Again, we have to put that message out, I feel, and appreciate these guys and girls who are just dynamite in the semis, leading into the semis, get to the semis or the final, and they're done. And you've got to go, well, shit, yeah, fair enough. You've just had 3, 4, bouts, extensions within that, whoever's in your division. Even if it's 1 or 2, even those people that go, oh, I fought in intermediate, but it was only 4, so I fought in the semis, I was straight into the final. Well, shit, hey, what I say is, got to be in it to win it. Right? You've got to be in it to win it. Not everyone is going to do what the full contact fighter is capable of. There are many injuries. There are many other circumstances that occur that, you know, in the intermediate phase that start to, you know, climb into your journey, your timeline. And, well, that means in the semi, it's on. You've got to put everything into it and expect a potential ikiwaki if you haven't done something, you know, of a point or half a point. So you're going again at full pelt. So you've gone full pelt to get into the final. And I've been there and I've seen it. And those that go, oh, there was only 4 in your division, don't let that crap sink into the fighter's head. Let your fighter be proud of what's going on and get them to the dance, get them to the final, get them to experience and taste what it is, especially if you're a higher end intermediate that's pushing for open, and you've started to realize what the spirit side of it is at the tipping end, because you move into advanced. And once you go into advanced, you're brown, which I'll talk about next, which I can't wait, obviously. So your journey as an intermediate is 3, 4, 5 years in. You could be the one that's gone through the phase like I did as a beginner, and, you know, worked their way through the rookie ranks and the internship and the, you know, apprenticeship, and you need it. I most definitely recommend it, no matter what, you know, age you are. Again, go back to beginners. Anyone from 45 and above has to have a legitimate fitness base for our dojo to compete in any division. So again, there's some I guess protocols and prerequisites for some of our competitors. However, you now have to start to embrace everything. Start watching again your advanced core high in the tournaments. Get something from them. Every tournament you should be getting something. You should be watching, being switched on but balanced now, having those butterflies, slowly starting to get control. You will have those some bad injuries in regards to maybe the bad check didn't come off well, and the bad injuries should start to recover quicker than they did in the beginner phase. And because it depends, shin pads on or whatever the situation is. So balancing your recovery must be better than the year before, and being able to come back to the dojo. We had a rule within our dojo to come back after the tournament, come back, whatever level you are, get that energy back, you know, get that, I guess, like-minded, you know, feel again. Yes, you hurt, and others that helped you get to this point, and then you disappear for a week, you know, sitting on the couch. Some might have to, but others, we felt coming back into that environment lifts the team, lifts the self-esteem. We get to debrief, it's fresh, it's raw, everyone gets to listen in as well. So good luck to the intermediates out there. I can't wait to see more of this side of the division growing more, because then that means that tier are pushing and knocking on the door of the open or the brown and above, the advanced. You know, really cool phase in your karate career to start to respect and acknowledge where your strength and where your training has got to here, if you're obviously a full contact fighter that's progressing. If this is the time where you've stopped, which is the hump, I call it, that green tag, green belt hump, where most fighters have got to, had a shot, and then they're like, well, I might not compete moving forward, so karate's not for me. Whoa. Hold it right there. You know, I might pick another topic for that. The hump, I call it, on that green. Such a difficult belt to keep that student that was a previous fighter that may not want to compete moving forward, because they know that the commitments and sacrifices and all these things are just out of their hands, families, and I've been there. Not on the I'm stopping. I know how to get over that hump. I know exactly what to share with you, but I might bring that up in another topic for the intermediates. All the best. Hope that helps. Ask questions. Go to your core high. Go to your senseis and shians. Challenge them in regards to, you know, good, positive conversations. You're in that phase now of understanding a lot more, and you should be capable now of knocking on the door of advanced. look forward to talking to you into the advanced side for those out there. And if you're if you're a beginner and intermediate that want to listen to the advanced, I'll give you some more nuggets, if you may say. Thanks heaps for joining me. Like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. All the best. Lovely talking to you all. Take care. Us.